In this video, we will create a main menu from where you can start your game, and it will also include a level selection screen where you can go back and forth from the level selection screen and the main menu. From here, you can of course select level 1 or level 2. The first thing we need is a separate scene for this, as we want to keep our main menu separate from the levels in our game. So I will go to my scenes folder, right click, go to create, go to the scene section, and then click scene. I will name my scene main menu, and I will double click to open it up. Now we have a completely blank scene, and the first thing we need to do to make sure the scene will function when we try to load our levels is going to file, then build profiles, open the scene list, and then click the add open scenes button to add our main menu to the scene list. I'll just drag this to the top, so our main menu now has the build index of 0, while our level 1 has the build index of 1, then level 2 has the build index for 2. This also makes much more logical sense when we try to load the correct scenes in our script. I will close out my build profiles. I will then go to my hierarchy, right click, go to UI canvas, and create a canvas. This will be the main menu UI, and inside this canvas system we would like two different panels, one panel for our main menu screen and a separate panel for our level selection screen. So I will right click on my main menu UI game object, go to UI canvas, and create a panel. This will be the main menu panel, and then I will right click again, create another panel, and call this the level select panel. I would firstly like to start editing my main menu panel. So to make sure these two panels don't overlap, I will make my level select panel inactive for now. I'll then go to my main menu panel, press F to frame it, and now we can start creating our buttons. We would like 3 buttons on this panel, one for playing the game, one for going to our level selection screen, and finally, one button for quitting our game. So I will right click on my main menu panel, go to UI, and create a button text mesh pro. I will just name this my play button, and I would like it to be a bit bigger, so I will increase the width to 300 and then the height to 150. I will also expand this to go to the text child game object. I will change the text to say play, just make the font style bold, and the font size I will increase to 75. Now that I have a button that I like the look of, I will duplicate it 2 times, so I don't have to edit the other buttons. And I will take my play button, drag up a bit, and I will take my last button and drag down a bit. Then I will change the names in the hierarchy. I would like for this middle button to be our level select button, and for the last button, it should be the quit button. I will just expand these 2 buttons as well, and this should be our level text, and this should be our quit text. Now for this button, I will type levels. It seems the font style is a bit too large, so I will change that to 70. And for the quit text, I will just type quit. Now we have 3 separate buttons, but as of now, they don't have any functionality. So we will fix that by going to our scripts folder and creating a new model behavior script, which I will call main menu. I will open up my script and delete the start and update methods. And in the script, we need to load scenes, which we need the scene manager for. So we also need to go to our usings and type using Unity Engine scene management. Now let's test out the functionality of our main menu by creating a method for our play button. So I will create a new public void method, which I will name play game. And in here, all I want to do is access the scene manager.load scene. It needs a build index, and I will pass in 1 as the build index, as this is the build index for our first level. I will then save my script, head back into Unity, and go to my play button. In the inspector, I will then scroll down. Here we have the on-click section, which gives functionality to our buttons. We need a object which has our main menu script on it, so I will take my main menu script and drag onto our main menu UI game object. Now that we have our script attached, I will go back to my play button. In the on click for the object field, I will drag in my main menu UI. Now this drop-down menu becomes active. We can find our main menu script and select the play game method as the functionality for our play button. And now when we start the game in the editor, I can hit the levels and the quit button. And of course nothing happens as we haven't assigned functionality to these. But when I click my play button, it loads the first level of our game. So now we know that our script and our buttons actually work. And now we can start to assign functionality to our other buttons. And I will start out by creating a method for our quit button. So I will type public void quit game. And all we need in here is the application.quit. This application.quit method will only work once you build your game and play from there. It won't work in the editor. But just to make sure that our button actually has some functionality, we can just use a debug log where we will type quit game. Now, as soon as we assign this to our quit game button, we will then have full functionality for 2 out of 3 buttons in our main menu. But we still need functionality to show our level selection screen when clicking our levels button. And what we basically want to do when clicking our levels button is hiding our main menu panel and showing our level selection panel. So to do this, I will create 2 serialized fields. One will be a private game object main menu panel, and the other will also be a private game object, and you guessed it, level select panel. And for this to work fully, we need 2 different methods. We need a public void open level select and a public void close level select. When we open the level selection, the first thing we want to do is set the main menu panel to be inactive using the set active to false. And for the level select panel, we want to use the set active and set it to true. And this seems like a good time for a challenge. Fill out the logic for our close level select method so that we hide the level select panel and once again show our main menu panel. If you're unsure what to do, use our open level select method as a reference point. Pause the video now, give it a good go, and then come back to see the solution. Okay, welcome back. Well, all we need to do here is to do the exact opposite. So I will copy this and paste it inside this method and set the active for main menu panel to true and change the level select panel that set active to false. Now that we have the methods for quitting our game and showing and hiding our level selection screen, we can head back into Unity. And firstly, we will go to our quit button in the on click. I will drag in the main menu UI, go to our main menu script and select the quit game method. Then for the level select button, I will do exactly the same with creating an on-click event, drag in our main menu UI, and then going to main menu, but then selecting open level select. And the final thing we need to do before playing our game is going to the main menu UI, and we need 2 fields for this, one for our main menu panel and one for our level selection panel. So in the main menu panel field, we will drag in our main menu panel game object, and then we will take our level select panel and drag into this field. Now when we hit play, when we click our quit button, it correctly says quit game, and when we hit our levels button, it hides the main menu panel, and you can see our level selection panel is now active in our hierarchy. But currently our level selection screen is empty. So let's fix that by adding some buttons to it. To make sure my main menu panel does not overlap with my level selection panel when creating the buttons, I will make my main menu panel inactive for now and instead enable my level select panel. I will then begin to create 3 buttons, one for selecting the first level, one for selecting the second level, and one for going back to the main menu. As you've already seen me create buttons before, I will speed up this next part. So now our buttons look visually okay, but they still have no functionality. The first thing I would like to do is to make sure that we can switch back and forth between our main menu and a level select panel. We already have functionality attached to our level select button, but we also need to attach some functionality to our back button. So I will go to my back button, and in the inspector, I'll go to on click, drag in my main menu UI game object, open the dropdown and go to main menu, and then select the close level select method. I will test this out, and right now my level select panel is active while my main menu panel is inactive. But when I click the back button, we go back to the main menu and enable that, and when I click the levels button, we go to the level selection screen. So now that we know that we can successfully switch between the 2 panels, we need to add functionality to load our first level and our second level. So I will go back to my main menu script and create a new method, public void load level. And this will take in a int, which I will name level index. And what we want to do here is to use the scene manager dot load scene, and we would like to use the level index. I will save my script. Then I will go to my level 1 button. In the inspector, I will add a on-click event, drag in my main menu UI, go to my main menu, select the load level method, and as it takes in an int as a parameter, we need to set this in the inspector. And again, if you remember from our scene list, our level 1 has the build index of 1. So I will type 1 in the inspector, and for the level 2 button, I will use the same method, but pass in 2 as my build index. I will then disable my level select panel and open up my main menu panel. And now when we play our game, we can either select play to go to our first level and play the game from the beginning, or we can go to our level selection screen, selecting level 1, or select level 2. But you might notice a small problem. Our live UI once again is not showing up in our second level. Right now, we're using the don't destroy and load method to keep it active throughout our different levels. But don't destroy and load only applies to already created objects. And this UI is created in our level 1 scene. So therefore, when we load a level which is not the first level, the UI is never created and therefore can be persistent across different levels. Luckily, this requires a relatively simple fix. We will save the main menu scene, then we will load our level 1 scene, go to our UI, right click and copy it, then go back to our main menu where we will paste it in the hierarchy. We will disable it in the inspector, and then we will go back to our main menu script. In here, we will create a new serialized field, which will be a private game object, which I will name UI. Then I will create a new public void method, which I will call enable UI. Inside this method, all we need to do is access our UI variable setActive to true. And then we need to take this method and call it in our playgame method and in our load level method. We will save the script. And what we are doing now is that we are creating our UI in our main menu, but setting it as inactive so it doesn't show up in the main menu. And whenever we start to play our game by hitting our play button or loading the levels from the level selection screen, we enable the UI and thereby pass it through to the next scene. The final thing we need to do is we need to save our main menu scene, then go back to our level 1 scene and delete the UI from the level 1 scene, as we don't want our UI to duplicate. We will save this, go back to our main menu scene, and the final thing we need to do is go to our main menu UI, where you can see it needs us to specify which UI we want to load. So we will grab our UI game object from the hierarchy, drag into this field, and now when we play our game, our UI is shown on screen. And this is the same case when selecting level 1 and selecting level 2. And lastly, we also want to do the same for our sound manager. So I will select the sound manager in our hierarchy. I will copy the sound manager, go to my main menu and paste it in here. I will save my scene, go back to level 1 and delete my sound manager from my hierarchy in level 1. Save that scene as well. And now when we play our game, we get the music in the main menu, which I will just disable so you can hear my voice clearly. And we will also have our sound effects in level 2. It is of course completely up to you whether you want the music to play in your main menu or you only want it to play during the game. If that's the case, you can go ahead and do the same method as we just did with our UI and disable the sound manager in the hierarchy in the main menu scene, but enable the sound manager once again when you either play the game or load a level from the level selection screen. One thing to keep in mind is that our UI and the sound manager are now created from the main menu scene. That means if I press play directly from level 1 or level 2 by selecting them inside my scenes folder, those systems won't exist because the main menu scene never loaded in the first place. So for instance, now when I try to pick up this cherry, instead of picking up the collectible, I get an error. The reason for this error is that the logic behind picking it up is attached to a UI, and the UI is not loaded when I open the scene directly from my scenes folder. For testing purposes, one option you have is to just place the UI and the sound manager game objects in each and every scene, but I'm not going to do that because when I build the game and if I at some point release it on itch.io, when you play the game, we will always start from the main menu scene first, and that means that these objects will be created normally before any level loads. So this is only something to be aware of when testing individual scenes inside the editor. And that wraps up our 2D platformer course. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched these videos and supported the channel and left all the positive feedback along the way. Seeing how much you've enjoyed this series has honestly meant the world to me. I'll keep doing my best to make even better content for you guys going forward, and I'm really excited for what's next. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.